All right, man. Detroit Lions defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. Is what we expected. I feel like the Lions still ain't clicking. The way the Lions offense should be clicking. Obviously, everybody went down in the secondary. Terrion, he gonna make headlines today for the holding call takeaway. I think two hut sacks. I think one was holding. Um, Another one, the safety was not. I think he had like two holding calls or something like that. It took away two Hutchinson sacks or whatever. And yeah, he gonna continue to be the topic of conversation. To be honest, I mean, he went down with the recurrent shoulder injury. I mean, he always injured, always broken up, um, always on the bad side of a play with holding or pass interference is something that they said they work with them on. So that's gonna be a topic. And Meek, he plays excellent football, but I think a little bit today at the end of the game, you found out why. He ain't been a starting corner in the league. He takes some unnecessary chances. I remember that game last year versus Green Bay. He got a dumb penalty. He got a really dumb penalty. Sorry for Miles. He got a really dumb penalty that would have held. It would have kept Green Bay scoreless. So you see, sometimes he just has some mental lapses in that corner. That's one of those positions that you don't want to have too many mental lapses at. But defensively, they play well. I mean, Jack and Alexander Zoni is playing as well as anybody on the team. I mean, they everywhere. I mean, they're literally everywhere. I mean, Kirby Joseph with a pick, and I was talking about him still in the pick away from Terrion Arnold today. I mean, overall, I mean, they played a good game, man. Towards the end, they started letting up and letting Cincinnati score some points. But the offense literally is just lackadaisical. They sleepwalking through this game. Early they just playing with the Bengals. They can score when they want to score. They could have scored 60 points today. They're literally just playing with the Bengals. The fumble, the golf. I feel like the arm was coming forward. They got to rule the ball move before the arm come forward. It's a fumble. I mean, it just seem like the offense. I know Taylor Decker ain't starting today, and Manu Giovanni, they had a lot of faith in him to start at left tackle, which is crazy. But then again, you think about it, they had a lot of faith in John Skipper to start at left tackle. So, yeah, so I think Giovanni is more of an athlete than Dan Skipper, but honestly, uh, they for the most part, defense brought the intensity early on, lacked off late in the game. Offensively, they sleepwalking this game. Honestly, the Bengals did a great job of saying we're gonna stop the run. You're gonna beat us with Goff gonna beat us with his arm. I feel like they just moved the ball effortlessly when they threw the ball. So Bengals chose to stack the box. And whatever it is with the JMO connection, it's they still having a hard time implementing JMO. And I feel like when they was with Ben Johnson, they was starting to bend that corner. It was bending that corner. Now you bring in another offensive coordinator, it's a little bit more of a setback. But right now, you really hope that that situation continues to go the right way towards at the right time towards the end of the season going into the playoffs. They started a game with an end around for them or whatever, but it is what it is. But um Laporta, he had another breakout game. St. Brown over 100 yards. He did what he did. He do what he do. Montgomery the jump pass out the Wildcat, running it in. Gibbs off the screenplay. They look a lot more cleaner with the screens. Um, so I mean, honestly, it was a game that we expected victory in. We knew victory was going to be a part of the game, but I just think that the offense is still, you know, it still ain't quite there yet. I think you see Laporta come alive. You've seen Laporta come alive. I mean, you've seen excuse me, dog want to be petted. You've seen Laporta want come alive today. Last season he started off with the injury, and then you see St. Brown is just he built that rapport with Goff, so they always gonna have that. And you just like okay for Jameson, what's up? He's what with Cruz, well not with Cruz with Tesla caught a touchdown pass, and I think just think, Khalif Raymond got knocked out the game early in the game. So I think for Tesla, you know, I think it's time for them to start giving them a larger role, especially if you can't get much out of JMO. So if you can't get, out of JMO, I mean, you might as well start, looking at Tesla. You know, so that's my fair opinion. Hopefully, Khalif Raymond is good, but um, then in a way, the Lions played a very sloppy game. Offense was sloppy all game. Defense was sloppy towards the end of the game. So I feel like it could have been a better game all the way around. In my opinion, there could have been a better game all the way around. Um, Special teams they did solid today, but I just feel like offensively they just like okay we'll score when we feel like it. We could do this when we let's try this out. Let's try this. Defensively they like all right we own Jake Brownie. Fuck it. It's all the injuries going in and out too. You got Tyrion out, Roxy in and out. What I'm saying? He bit on the double move trying to be advantageous and get a pick when it wasn't called time for him to get that pick. So they just got to be focused. And right now, I think defense is looking pretty ahead of the offense right now. But even with the injuries, but we got to see where Tyrion at with the shoulder. He just seemed like a complete lost cause, to be honest. I mean, the holding calls come at the worst time. The PI calls come at the worst time. Like, what do we got to get him to do to stop panicking when the ball's in the air? Is the $1 million question. And then he always injured, and it's like, and that's why I felt like it was a big difference between him and Quinyon Mitchell. It was just a huge gap between him and Quinyon Mitchell, in my opinion. I'm not sure about Kool-Aid McKisson. I see he got a pick today, so I'm not sure how he's doing, in New Orleans. But I think it's a big gap between, Terrion and Quinyon Mitchell. So, but Terrion can't stay healthy. Can't stop holding. Um, that's something that they gonna have to fix. But for the most part, it was a successful victory for the Lions. They traveled as one of those games that people kind of could see being the L. No Joe Burrow. And I feel like if Burrow was out there, it'd have been a totally different game. I don't think the Lions would have just came in for homecoming for David Montgomery. I think they would have came in with a serious face on. I don't think they came into this game serious. I think they trying shit and they doing things, and I don't think this was the real version of the Detroit Lions, and that's my opinion on it. But they had a lot of trouble on that side without Jared Goff. I mean, without Taylor Decker. There's a tremendous issues on that left side without Decker. I mean, sometimes they bring in, the tight end Brock right over the block. Um, you know, sometimes Manu Giovanni was getting blew up, and you just ask yourself, if this happens again, when are we gonna make? Should we make the transition where Goff can see on the backside and just see on the front side? Move Manu to the right tackle and put Penisa Will on left tackle. I think that's something that they got to consider doing. They was trying some funky stuff, pulling people over to help block Trey Hendrickson and off that left side. But to be honest with you, we figured Manu Giovanni, he was a guard prospect, great athlete, great athlete. According to the Lions, he ain't ready to play left tackle. He ain't ready to play left tackle. Let's keep it real. What they should have done was put him on the left, and I feel like with Taylor Decker, they just wanted to get him some rest and manage him a little bit. But it is about time. Like when that shit happens, it's about time to put old boy at left tackle. In my opinion, it's time to put old boy at left tackle. Penny Will at left tackle, but um, but if this is what they looking at as the future at left tackle, I mean, it could have went worse. You know, but you can't have your quarterback getting shotgun from the back. You know what I'm saying? Like getting toe up from the Bizak. So, but yeah, it was a good game. Lions came out on top. I just felt like they just was like, we gonna just show up and beat their ass, and that's the type of game. I think if they really took this game serious, they could have walked out of here 50-0. Honestly, I just think they slept walk through this game. So that's my opinion on it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live, drop videos. Check out the Lions post game reaction playlist. Hit the link tree. You can find me everywhere. Peace.